Alright guys, I brought home this truck the other day. This isn't mine, this is a buddy's truck. And it had a homemade-ish, non-professional, possibly parts falling off kit. And he took it to somebody to get it worked on about a month ago. And all it did was sit. It's going to be going out of state in a couple months, but until then it needs to be used as a legal truck here. So I'm going to have to put all this stuff back on. At first I was just going to keep the stuff off of it, but I went up to the guy's place to get it, the mechanic shop that he dropped it off at, and I was just going to start it and drive it on the trailer with a little buddy, but I was glad that I put the winch on there because I ended up having to winch it on. Because not only were the windows down and it got rained in, but the batteries were completely dead, the intake horn was taken off, the rail plug was removed and I couldn't find it. I didn't know it was gone until I got it back here. I ordered a new one off Amazon. It was like 10 bucks. And the injection line to #1 injector was taken off. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but like I said, they did take the intake horn off, so I had to make a new gasket. And I've had the battery charger on it for a couple of days, and I think the batteries are just completely spent. It's not even showing anything on there. So I have another battery. Hopefully that thing will be enough to get it started and put it in the shop, and hopefully it starts. He said he drove it to the shop to get it worked on, and it just sat there for a month, and I guess they left the key on or something, completely frogged it. And also hopefully he has everything to take it back to stock. Funny thing is he didn't even put a tune on it. He just drove around in limp mode, but it has EFI live tuning and a CB5 switch. That's 600 bucks worth of stuff right there. So anyway, I'm gonna see if I get it started. It obviously it is completely crapped out. I might go get my jump box and actually see if we can get it going. Ooh, get lucky. Alright, now we got a battery, clean that up, put the intake back on, and see if we can start. Not like it really matters, it's just going to start burning this crap again anyway. All this that I'm doing right now is a complete and utter waste of time because they didn't need to take any of this off. People working on this truck, stupid is what they are. Just flat out stupid. Don't take your truck somewhere like this. No idea why they took that off. I double checked with the owner and he said the truck was running when he took it up there. So it gave them zero cause to do this. Cost a bunch of time, energy, and I dropped a bolt. Can't find the bolt. But it's not in the intake, and it's not in the intake grid heater. It's not in the intercooler. So we're going to just replace the bolt. Unless it shows up on the ground somewhere. Okay, let's see if this thing's got oil.
case they decided to drain the oil too, because they were on such a good run of being an idiot. This will make it start. Check engine light came on immediately. Wonder what that's about. This new box though, the Dirt Perfect Special. Had to order one. 12 and 24 volt. She sounds healthy. Check this out. Well, thank goodness it started and drove in here under its own power. I was a little nervous about that, but he said it was a runner and confirmed it. Just needed to put another battery and jump box. With a common rail, it will prime itself. You do not need to crack those. If you crack those lines, it is 7,000 or so PSI at idle in the common rail. When you have full throttle, it's like 26,000 PSI. It's enough to ruin your day if you get your hand near it. Do not crack those. They self-bleed. You don't do that. So you just crank it for a little bit, she fires. So she fired up, drove in here. I actually did look at buying this truck off of him a couple years ago, and I didn't really want it, but after I drove it around a little bit, it's kind of cool. Plus it's got a brand new trans, and I didn't realize it, but it's a fully loaded, for the back in the day Laramie. It's definitely a dirty truck, but like, this is cool. This is a nice little work truck. I think it's going to do him good. Short bed. That has escalated the stuff that we got to do to it, which kind of sucks. Because it started off, it just flashed new tune into it so that it wouldn't have be in D rate. Then it went to, we got to go pick it up, it might not be running, whatever. Then find out that a mechanic had kind of botched up some stuff underneath the hood, so I burned a little bit longer than you'd really expect chasing somebody else's work, trying to fix that. But all these boxes and stuff, maybe I'll make a deal with him to get these, because he's not going to need them where he's going. Got an air compressor and tank and the stuff on the back. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start putting all the garbage back on this thing. Needs to drain some of the coolant out, because these newer trucks, the turbo's cooled, and they got a EGR cooler and everything up here, so your exhaust gas isn't super hot going back into the intake. Try to justify garbage, but that's what we got to do, because that's a coolant line and it's bypassed right now. This thing's not light. Come on, transmission thing. Get out of the way. Hey, keep on. This feels like a sin putting this crap back on. Don't make it easy. Guess it's tight. That one's easy to get to, but this one you can't get a wobble. I got, you know, then I got two in the back that are just as difficult. Okay, I got all the nuts tight to hold the EGR down. Now I gotta put these heat shield things on. Let's see here. I can put one here. What's this? Yeah, that looks right. A couple little nuts and we're good. Okay, we're moving along in a decent little flow. I'm kind of surprised. It's going back together pretty nice. I'm hoping the bolts for the delete kit are long enough for that. But people always ask if I'm selling stuff. I mean, nobody's gonna buy these, but I keep pretty much everything. Those are off of a different truck, and this one needed them because they have to be the heat ones, because you're gonna be having heat coming from your exhaust recirculating. So I still had those. Luckily, he still had this, but should go back together. Look like it got rained on a little bit, so hopefully that doesn't affect the bottom line. Yeah, they look like they'll work. Well, I think everything's back on there. Everything's plugged in, plugged in, plugged in. It's got a couple more sensors in my cab and chassis version of this truck. Somehow I couldn't find that, and it was sitting right on the bumper. I had to cut up the delete hose, and then I had to harvest some of my inventory for that, which kind of sucks. Oh, I gotta put a couple of those little nuts on there. I forgot about that. I'm gonna get those nuts put on there, and then we gotta put the DPF crap on the back. The diesel particulate filter. Used to be just catalytic converter. Now they got the filter, then you got the muffler, and just dawned on me, this isn't the full exhaust. What the hell? Whatever. They got enough to pass smog off of this, so it's just going to be an axle dump like what it is now. Thankfully that's still on there. It is not in the best of shape, but whatever. All the sensors appear to be on there, and somehow they got those out. They are up here. Where are they at? These little devils. Somehow they got those out, and everything still appears to be there. They bent it a little bit, but hopefully we'll make her work. She's got a 5-inch on here. Maybe I'll talk them into putting this on first gen. Alright, let's get this crap off. On 3rd and 4th gen trucks, removing the exhaust is kind of difficult. On the older ones, you can kind of manipulate it around the transmission cross member, but it's a pain, and it's just easy enough to pop out the 4 bolts, put a tranny pan or tranny jack underneath it, lift the trans, and pull that cross member, and we'll pull that thing out. I already got the one piece back there. That thing was pretty loud. Axle dump, straight 5, no muffler. Oh, screw that. I gotta put these arrows up under here. All right, everything's on there. Everything's hooked up down below. Pretty sure that the battery charger going so that it's good for when I flash. Maybe I can just get away with deleting the BS. Okay, we don't need that. We just need this. When I reflash the stock tune, I might have to do a force regen. Displayed. Oh. He didn't even configure this thing. So it's not programmed. Let's see what happens when it happens. Reduce power seat dealer. It's quiet now. Alright, I'm gonna hook up my scan tool up to it and see if I can get some snacks. Cornbread and Bartle. I had to update. I hadn't done it before. I tried to do this before with Taylor's rig. I don't know. Reflash. I don't have Wi-Fi down in the shop. I don't know if it needs Wi-Fi. If not, I'm gonna have to freaking run off. Oh, there we go. Hey, she's got 1%. She's doing something. All right, cool. So hopefully I can clean the trap with this thing. My buddy Justin's got a thing for his phone that costs like $200. This thing was like $1,300. That apparently can do the same thing. You can adjust tire pressure, parameters, and big tires, yada yada. This thing I got for calibrating. The main reason I got it is for recalibrating my actuator on my turbo when I was doing some of that stuff. But so I like these trucks. These are so much easier. So much easier. Kind of funny. Everybody's like, "Oh, go back to a first gen. Go to a second gen. It's all mechanical stuff." And then as soon as I get a first gen, people are like, "Oh, welcome to the electrical issues of a first gen." It's like, what the heck? Electrical issues have been here this whole time, and people just they point fingers as soon as anything gets a little different or whatever. I deleted some codes, but I did not. I don't know. It said C dealer for clog crap on there. David showed up.
What's it?
He brought some tires. Oil change required, contact dealer. It did say we were power reduced earlier though, but it's not saying that now. So we might get off with a little, oh, door is ajar. Yeah, we're getting progress. Door's ajar. A jar of stuff.
Okay.
With his quiet.
Okay. Do burn out! It smells like shit though. Come on, back it. Get it, son! At least I didn't park there. Yeah. What's a truck if you don't look at it, right? You got all this property and everything's in the way.
Where's Boone?
You're good. Boone! Where did you disappear to? Oh, Piper. Oh, there he is. Nah, yeah, you're just starting to park like Jeeps now.
See that? Four-wheeling. I want to do a video actually four-wheeling this. I want to drive it through the pond.
I smell ATF.
Yeah, I smell gear oil.
Yeah.
Fuck, now you're driving away.
Oh, it's good enough.
No, I can't do the
You're good, you're good. Keep on back it. Watch out for the other truck. I was kidding. Come on, keep on.
Oh, there's so much.
You can hear yourself think.
Going now. That 68 won't be a new 68 anymore.
Nope. Probably got to break it in.
Well, my favorite Ford showed up. Got this truck all back together yesterday, record time, and my computer needed to update the ECM, my scan tool, but Justin's got this thing, it's just an app for his phone. You got to use an Android, and just Bluetooth down to the OBD2. It appears to be doing a reburn right now. He got rid of all the check engine lights and stuff. We got rid of the overhead console, like there's like a performance service, oil change stuff. You got to do pedal commands to get rid of that. Like key on, hit the brake twice, gas twice, turn key off. And the oil change one is key on, gas pedal 3 times, key off. But so far so good. It says this could take up to 90 minutes. So we backed it away from the shop, or drove it away. And to keep this nasty, this is a pre-def smog truck, and it smells completely terrible. So I got a fan kind of kicking it back this way so that it doesn't consume the shop with just nasty emissions. It's worse than smelling, you know, a 12 valve with like a stuck injector. But we're getting somewhere. I'm liking it. I'll have to get one of those tools, and they're only like a couple $100. Definitely gonna have to get one of those. Probably order it today. But thankfully Justin's a cool guy. He's over there talking to old Ken. Ken's the guy I bought the 24 valve from. I actually made pretty good friends with him. Good old boy, that's for sure. People say you can't pick your friends. That's BS. You find some good people in your life and you try to keep them around, because they will save you day in and day out, or just have a good conversation with you and make your day a lot better. All right, the exhaust is smelling a lot better. Not nearly as deadly. Kind of bogged it down a little bit right there. Wondering why not auto revving up. Electronic. We're gonna take her for a test drive. All the overhead lights are off now, thanks to Justin. I'm gonna order one of those little scan tools he's got. It was just way simpler. Android device. And mine wouldn't do it. It had said update the ECM. You guys saw me messing with it yesterday. I just deleted a couple codes. Somebody call me? No. Doing it says can take up to 80 minutes to do the reburn and desoot. They're just down there leaving with this 12 valve old Ford. So we're gonna drive it up the hill and see if it survives. Feels just like Taylor's truck, except for really wobbly because it's got a bunch of stuff in the bed. Oh, it's got something up there. What the hell is that? Man, this thing's got some body roll. Well, it's going through its paces. I stopped up there, turned around, there was somebody selling a truck, so I looked at it. And while I was looking at the truck, this thing went back into high idle. Like your typical high idle will be like 1050. This one was not quite that high. So I think it's still trying to do some regen. It didn't quite finish. But the exhaust brake works. So I'm gonna park it up here for a little bit more, but I think this truck is done. Just needs to pass California smog once so he can run it here for a little bit, and then it's probably gonna end up losing everything I just put back on it later on when it goes out of state. So I'm gonna park it right here and see what she does. Got a little body roll on this truck. Well, for 2500 short bed, it kind of, I don't know if this thing's full or something. Maybe it is. Maybe that's all our weight. Doesn't ride the greatest. Check it out, guys.
got a new hat. Mechalek sent me some care package here, and I got another fan mail I want to share with you guys after I talk about this video. I know I'm going to get some hate because I put that stuff back on the truck. Got to understand that's what you got to do around here, and probably a lot of other states that are starting to choke down on that, which is annoying because that, honestly, the way that truck smells with all that on there, probably kill you a lot faster than just raw diesel. I guarantee it. It's terrible. I hate the smell of that. Pre-def truck, terrible. But that truck arguably sat for more than a year than I know of before it went to that shop and sat there for another month, and we happened to show up the day after they started tearing into it. They started tearing into stuff that didn't even make sense that they were working on, unrelated to the emissions 100%. Caused me a couple hours and a couple of days actually waiting for parts to put all this back together. But once I got the intake horn on and all that stuff, you do not take apart injection lines and stuff and leave it in the middle of a dirt parking lot exposed to dust and everybody driving by. Common rail injectors are very sensitive, and pretty much every injector is sensitive because the nozzle, the holes are so small in that if you get contaminants in there, you get stuck injectors, you get a bad spray pattern, you can burn up a piston, or you just have a no start issue or a rough idle or something like that. White smoke. But I got it all back together. Then it took me about 2.5 hours to put all the emissions back on, which I thought was pretty good considering I had to find, you know, X amount of parts that were missing because it was, you know, all the parts were laying in the field probably. But something wrong with my scan tool. I got an update or something like that, but thankfully my buddy Justin came through and his phone app. I'm going to order one of those. Took care of it, ran the reburn, got rid of all the lights, no more dealer, see dealer warning. Thing feels like a completely stock truck. It does seem, I don't know, because it's got a new transmission, might have different torque converter, and the truck doesn't quite want to govern itself up. When you put it in reverse, it kind of bogs it down a little bit. And then if it sits for a little while, I vaguely remember my cab chassis version of this truck when it was stock. I vaguely remember how it acted when you sat at idle for a little bit. It kind of wanted to rev up, and you can kind of hear exhaust brake kick on, that little bit of whistle like it was trying to recirculate some of its garbage. That's what this one does. After I drove it around for a little bit, it still did that. I talked to the owner and he said it's always done that. Some blue point thing, I have no idea. Some early stages of a 6.7 smog crap. But it's on there, good to go. He's gonna come pick it up tomorrow. He's gonna get some new batteries. I had an overhead warning light, not a warning light, but it's just like you know, you need to change the oil. That thing came back on, so he's gonna go through a new filter, new oil filter, fuel filter, air filter, and probably crankcase vent. That might be actually what it is, because if that one's clogged, it'll keep warning that at you. But anyway, guys, check out some fan mail right here. Mechalek, I did a video with one of their machines about a year ago, and they hit me up and they were excited about that video. And they, you know, it would be sweet to have a Mechalek. If you didn't know that, it's pretty much alien technology of an excavator and loaders and stuff like that. But for Mechalek themselves, Sam, while waiting to experience the real one, here is the one you get to play with. They're talking about me buying a Mechalek, the 8-ton version. So they sent me this. Now this is where it gets cool, because this young gentleman and his family sent me a care package the other day. By the way, P.O. Box will be in the description of most every video I do if you guys want to send some fan mail. You don't have to, but I would appreciate it. I'll put it on a video. They sent me, this might be from my little baby boy that were expected in February, but they sent me this old Dodge with a gooseneck. It's even got a tilt deck. But I thought that was cool because I can put the Mechalek on there. Then they sent a little note. The young man Morgan printed, or yeah, he printed out and cut out all these things for me. Pretty much every brand of everything that we run. We got a Dodge. I think he's got a Diamond. Yeah, look at that. Got a Diamond C1 in here. It's cool to see, you know, the appreciation. Then they got some little baby clothes for Taylor. We got a little baby boy coming. His name's Callahan. He'll be here in February. So we're looking forward to that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Kind of a long-winded outro, but we got some fan mail here. And like I said, if you guys want to send me some stuff, you don't have to. P.O. Box in the description below. Also check out Vbeltandson.com. I'm going to be throwing in random prizes in each and every order. You know, it might be some V-Belt merch, might be an extra hat, some old stickers from, you know, anything I've ordered, Steed Speed, you know, fast sticker. We got all kinds of that stuff. But thanks for watching, guys. It's late. I'm going to bed. Have a good one.